Well, thanks so much, Mel. Dr. Grungross, thanks for being with us today. Quite a stock move you're seeing in Adagio shares. Tell us about your approach with your antibody drug and what role you see it playing against COVID.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Meg. The role we see our antibody playing is both in the treatment of COVID-19 as well as the prevention. And so we're running global trials right now in an effort to substantiate the efficacy of our molecule in these two indications.
And tell us about the way you designed it. Where did it originate? You know, we've heard about other antibodies that have been taken from people who've survived either SARS-1 or SARS-CoV-2 in the early days, or like Regeneron designed these in the lab using mice. How was yours developed, and why does it have the ability not to be affected by these very mutated variants like Omicron?
The reason is exactly how you phrased the question, is of how we went about discovering the molecule. So we very early on appreciated the potential danger from variants emerging, and you see this with many infectious diseases, in particular, in fact, coronaviruses. So we, from the beginning, sort of thought about that possibility and decided to design a molecule that is broadly neutralizing across the entire class of these SARS-like viruses or sarbecoviruses. So what we sought to find is a molecule that neutralizes SARS-1 as well as SARS-CoV-2 and targets a very unique site that the virus has not been able to change a lot without losing fitness. And so we target this highly conserved epitope, and that has shown to be resilient to date against any of the variants that have emerged. And what we know is that our antibody, based on a sequence analysis, is likely to bind to Omicron and not lose any of its neutralization potency.
Can you walk us through, Dr. Grungross, how is it that this particular drug can treat but also prevent? In Morgan Stanley's note, they highlight the fact that compared to the other treatments on the market, you know, from Lilly and Regeneron, those treatments are compromised by Omicron, but yours is not. They don't mention anything about the prevention. Can you tell us more about that?
The key differentiating factors are its breadth and potency of neutralization. So once you have that, you can then further improve the antibodies and engineer them to have a long half-life. So our molecule has a half-life of just under 100 days. And so with that, you can now think about a single intramuscular injection that basically affords you protection for an entire year. And that's very powerful vis-a-vis what we've seen in the vaccine space, where we did see very high efficacy at the beginning, but as variants have emerged, that efficacy has been eroding. And as time goes by, also neutralization titers tend to go down. And with that, we see the emergence of these breakthrough infections. And so our hope is that with a single potent, broadly neutralizing antibody that can be sustained in the body for up to a year, we're likely going to see protection for a much longer period of time. The other big differentiator is that the antibody, unlike vaccines that elicit immune response, and very often that doesn't actually happen when you are immune compromised or undergoing cancer treatment, this drug upon administration is going to be there, and it's going to be there for, as I said, up to a year and protect you. So those are the key differences.
What kind of clinical data have you seen so far? It sounded like from your update a couple weeks ago, you're expecting to have the full data package that you'll need to file for emergency use authorization, perhaps in the second quarter of next year, and filing in the third quarter. So far, what kind of protection have you seen your antibody be able to provide?
We've not released any data on the protection. Those are ongoing trials that, of course, you don't unblind until you have all the patients enrolled and have data. But what we have discussed is the remarkable half-life of the antibody. So the ability of being injected once, and after 6 months, the neutralization titers of Adagio 20 are significantly higher than we see with any of the vaccines. So again, this is what gives us hope that we can in particular serve patient populations that are not responding well to vaccines and do not mount a sufficiently protective immune response upon being vaccinated.
Dr. Grungross, can you walk us through what the time frame is to application for EUA for this treatment / vaccine? I'm not really sure what you want to call it, treatment and prevention drug. And also, can you talk to us about sort of the window that you might have to get this on the market? Because it sounds like Pfizer and Moderna are working very hard on modifying their vaccines or testing another booster against Omicron. And if they get those vaccines to market, are you concerned that you missed the window in terms of getting your treatment into the arms of people as opposed to Pfizer or Moderna?
The short answer is absolutely not. What we've seen now and what we have said all along is that this virus has shown a remarkable ability of evading the immune system and coming up with new variants. And the joke that we have internally is that the Greek alphabet has 24 letters and we're at letter 15, and there are going to be more to come. So the idea that this is over with Omicron, we just think is not going to be the case. There will be many, many more variants that we have to deal with. And so asking about, the deployment of, new vaccines, the problem with that is if you start working on Omicron today, by the time you are basically able to broadly deploy that, there is likely going to be another version or another variant. And so I'm not sure that this is a credible strategy.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Tilman Gerngross, the CEO of Adagio Therapeutics. And of course, our thanks as well to Meg Terrell.